Hello, I'm Simon and welcome back to an architecture tour of Deus Ex Human Revolution. In this video we are going to go into some of the locations in Hengsha, and that woman is really distracting because I can kind of understand Mandarin and she's a prostitute and she's asking you to try her services. So anyway, okay, let's just go. So we're going to go into some of the locations in Hengsha in the Kuaigan district. So this is Hunghua. It is a strip club. Although there's actually no nudity in this game. In fact, there's a lot of clothing in this strip club. So at the bottom floor we have a bar, we have an office with some people standing around. It's not a very big building. Anyway, we go upstairs. Rubbish, I don't know how good that is for business, having rubbish just lying around. And bikes. I don't know why there's a bike in the strip club. I think this staircase is just copied from the apartments. In the apartments there'll be bikes and rubbish and all that stuff lying around. I think maybe they copied over the staircase and retextured the walls but didn't actually remove the bikes and rubbish. Anyway, we're in the third floor, so we have poles. We have rooms with an interesting design for a shower. It's like curtains and everything, and glass on all sides, which is interesting if you're into that sort of thing. And some vaguely Chinese decoration. I guess it goes with the theme of the club. It's a brothel, I guess, a brothel and a strip club. And I guess they have foreign customers and Chinese customers apparently. This guy's just watching you instead of watching the girl, which is a bit creepy. So yeah, pretty much the least interesting strip club you've ever been to because everyone's fully clothed and they're not dancing very enthusiastically. But in terms of the game, I mean this building doesn't actually serve any gameplay purposes. You don't have any enemies in here, you don't creep around, you don't shoot anything. But they still went through and built 3 rooms on 2 floors each on 2 floors. So there's like 6 rooms and then there's the ground floor and everything. So they put in pretty much a whole building into this part of the game, even though you don't actually do anything in any of these rooms. So, you know, again I go back to the earlier point where I said, you know, some parts of the game they focus on storytelling and an atmosphere and setting the scene, and then other parts of the game they focus on gameplay. So this is it's a city hub, and here obviously they're focusing on setting the scene and telling the story here. So the strip club, you know, it's fully furnished, even though it doesn't serve any gameplay purpose at all for them to make all those rooms and put the whole building in. So we come back up to the roof. Next stop is the Hive, if I can remember which direction to go. There it is, the Hive. It's got this huge screen at the front with these swirling patterns all over it. So it's fairly easy to recognize. And excuse me as I jump off a building. So yeah, you can see it a mile away, you can hear it as well, the music. So I guess in that sense it's a bit of a landmark, so it's quite easy to know when you're close to it. Let's go inside, and you see the color theme is gold and black, and the hexagons is the motif that's used in the Hive, and obviously referencing beehives and all that. Not sure why they would call it a hive. I guess a hive is like might be a metaphor for dense cities, which Hengsha is. So you got nice decoration. Very kind of classy, even though there's rubbish all over the floor. Fancy lights again. You know, they've got interior designers working in this game, obviously. Look at all these fancy lights and everything. I'm not 100% sure if they have an architect working on the game. I don't think they have an urban designer working on the game at all, but they definitely have interior designers. Or at least an artist that's really interested in interior design. And was trained probably in it as well. You can see how the tables are hexagonal, or they have these kind of shapes on it, and the walls and the decoration. Everything fits together. It's all consistent. The chairs are that shape as well. So that's a pentagon, that's not a hexagon. But you know, you've got funny shapes. Well, it's the same kind of shapes. Polygons. Everywhere you go. Huh. Just as I said that, I noticed the shape of the balcony, which is circular, which is not one of these shapes. Oh wow. Oh wow. Okay, so mostly consistent, except for the shape of this mezzanine area. Never mind. Never mind. And I guess the shape of the bar as well is it's a square. It's not that shape. Okay, so it's mostly consistent. Not fully consistent. Is that a butterfly with lights in it? It's amazing. And it's not... It's reflecting the light as well. I never noticed this thing on the wall before. It's quite pretty. Well, I think it's quite pretty. There's another one. So this is the nightclub, I guess. The Hive. It's actually not the whole building. We're up here. That's the main floor. There's a basement. The basement is kind of part of the game, and I think if I go down there, you might have spoilers. Or not. But you can explore that for yourself. It's not particularly interesting. It's just the basement. There's no pretty decoration or cool looking interior design in there. It's mostly just a basement. There's like a freezer, and there's an office as well, and then there's an interrogation room with a dead guy in it, which is kind of funny. It's not part of the story, so it's not spoiling too much, but if you go down there, look for the dead guy. There's some loot next to him that you might be interested in. Alright, so we've been to Hunghua, we've been to the Hive. The next stop is Alice Garden Pod, and the closest way is this way. If you're impressed by how well I can find my way around, it's because before I record each of these videos, I actually walk around all the places that I intend to go just beforehand. If I didn't do that, I'd be completely lost in the city. Even after playing this game twice, you know, I still get lost in these areas, and I just let the game load a bit so it doesn't lag too badly. So, Alice Pods here. The entrance is not too impressive, but that's consistent too with the game. It's I guess you would call it budget accommodation. Although if you talk to the NPCs, they'll say that the rent is rising all over the place and everything is getting expensive. So maybe it's not so budget anymore. Well, you can actually see what it is on that loading screen. Shops? Look at that. Happy Duck Noodles. I'm kinda hungry actually, I wouldn't mind some Happy Duck Noodles. So there's a guy serving. So the street kind of extends into the indoors. I don't know how much that happens where you live. I mean, I don't know where you guys live. I guess people all around the world can watch these videos. But it's quite common in denser cities and in city centers for, you know, the street to kind of extend into buildings and up onto second stories and all that. Because, you know, the denser the city, the more expensive rent is, and so you want to maximize the use of the floor area in the most economically profitable way. Well, before I walk in here, I should show you. So I guess that's this extension of the street into the building. This other half of the building is actually gameplay, which I'm not going to show you because... Actually, I might show you that. Well, I have to load a different save file. No, I won't show you that, it's just utilities. There's like showers and laundry areas and all that, but it's not too important. I don't actually have to save for that. But I was going to point out how the main entrance kind of loops around before going upstairs, and you got to say that that wouldn't make sense in a real building. But in the game, they do that because you want to load the textures and models for this part when you're walking through here. And so if you're standing here and looking through, and if you can see the whole thing, that means you're using up a lot of video memory, and you know, because look at this. This is the area up here. Imagine having to render all that when you're standing back there. I don't think... No, I think that they designed it so that you wouldn't have to do that with the computer and the Xbox and the PS3s and all that. Anyway, the technical stuff. But again, it's the compromise between making it work in the computer game and making it realistic as a piece of architecture that you can believe exists in the real world. So a little bit of compromise there. So again, a lot of food stores down the bottom, and if you're not Chinese, you might not be aware of just how important food is to the Chinese. Like, the Chinese are very into good food, and they have food all over the place. And so this is culturally correct, I guess you'll say. So Alice Garden Pods. If you're wondering why it's called pods, it's because you literally rent pods. Like this is what you rent. It's a bed, shelves, and that's it. That's your room. So again, playing on this high density idea, and this is not, you know, we think it's kind of funny, but there are places in Japan that sell pods like these, or they rent out pods like these, and it's not they're not permanent dwellings. What the idea is, if you're like really hard working like the Japanese, and if you're, you know, stuck in the city and you're working overtime and all that, then you just rent a pod and you sleep a few hours and then you go back to work, basically. And so this is not like permanent dwelling or anything like that. Really, it's just a hotel. And because, especially in Tokyo, land prices are so high that, you know, even a pod like this can be quite expensive. I guess those are meant to be more pods up there. In fact, that's more reminiscent of those buildings in Tokyo that have these pods, whereas these are, you know, these are the layout of it is different down here. And if we look at the map, it's a simple space, very similar to the Seraph Industry headquarters. We have a central area and some rooms around the side. This actually becomes a gameplay area at some point in the game, where you'll find enemies in here and you have to hide from them and get away from them. And that's why I was saying before that, you know, the other half of the building, which we can't get into now, but here we have... Actually, I can just tell you about it. Here we have lockers, here we have showers and more showers, and then here we have the laundry, although if you look at the map, it's a bit strange, the shape of the laundry. And then you get back out into the street this way. But yeah, I won't show you that, it's not too interesting. But, you know, there are service areas for the hotel as well, so you know, you have laundries and showers and all that. So that's that. I mean, again, architecturally it's not too impressive, it's very functional. That character's just glitched. You know, it's not very special. I guess it conveys the idea of crowdedness and of people not being able to afford very much, you know, they can barely rent a part to live in. Oops, that's not the door. So yeah, not a lot of symbolism, not a lot of meaning. It's mostly fairly straightforward and quite practical. Okay, I'll show you the sewers in Hengsha, just very briefly. And then I'll end the video just before we get to the next section of Hengsha, because as I showed you earlier in the last video, this is only half the city. Anyway, let's go to the sewers, which are down here. I mean, this is not the sewer, there's more sewers over here. In fact, that doesn't make any sense, because if that used to be a river and the water flows down here, or you know, I don't know if you want to call that water or not, it's fluid. But then there's more sewers underneath, which doesn't really make sense. Well, in any case, here. So apparently the sewers in China are exactly the same as the sewers in Detroit, according to this game. Which doesn't make any sense at all. And they label it in English as well, even though we're in Shanghai. So, yeah, just to go back to the earlier point, the sewers are not realistic, they're just underground corridors. They're nothing like real life sewers at all. And again, you know, who would know? Who would know? I mean, I've never been into a sewer before. You really wouldn't notice. Whereas, you know, stuff like this, if you've been to Hong Kong or any other Asian city before, then you notice if things are not right. And I guess if you can read Chinese and the graffiti wasn't consistent, then you would notice. What is that? It says one way traffic. Let's see, we're heading here to the metro station. Will we? So the metro station will lead you to Yuzhou district. So let's just get over there as quickly as we can.
Well, Deus here is in serious trouble, Eliza. And it's time that we as a species stepped up to make things better. Our best chance at doing this is to modify ocean temperatures through a combination of iron.
And this is the subway here, and yeah, we got ticketing. You'll notice how small the station is. And look at this is the train platform. You'll notice how ridiculously small the train is. I think this is a reference to the first Deus Ex game. I don't know if you've ever played that, but there's a very similar station in the first Deus Ex game, and it's equally ridiculously small and unrealistic. But again, you know, compromise, real world computer game. You know, making a huge full-size train station doesn't really make sense if the whole city itself is shrunk down and compressed and out of scale anyway. And imagine having this thing at least 10 times as long to make it realistic, then there's just a lot of open space for no reason. So yeah, compromises. I don't know how I feel about that as an architect. It's a bit ridiculous if you think about it, just how small it is. Anyway, in the next video we will be going to the Yuzhou district, and I guess I'll talk about it when I get there. Thanks for watching and hope you're enjoying these. Again, if you have comments or if you have things you want to say or insights, then yeah, feel free to leave comments. I really do enjoy discussing architecture and games with people. Alright, I'll see you in the next video.